The finals of the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 9. In the bottom right side, going through the gauntlets, is the blue Zerg. From Alpha X, it is RAGNAROK. Just beaten a very otherworldly Zerg, of course, in Rogue. Marvelous opponents, but RAGNAROK coming out on top 3-1. Talking about a gauntlet to overcome. In the top left side, that is Dragon Phoenix Gamers Cure. The Red Terran just having to beat Gumiho, but you know what? Making it look like a walk in the park. Couple of Reaper rushes, a bit of harassments here and there. A base trade to, well, it was a short-lived game, but he won it. So there you go. Actually, let me take a look at what the other matches were that he had to go through. Because there were some strong opponents here. He went up 2-0 versus Zoun, and then he also beat Beyond 2-1. And afterwards, he managed to beat Cure. So a lot of TVT, in fact, to get his way through here. We'll get to see a bit of his TVZ right now as well. Could be a tough match up for him at the moment. I believe he's been known as the Protoss killer for a couple of times, but the Zerg killer, well, maybe with that one moment when he started doing all the Widowmine drops, definitely gave him quite a riser, in my eyes at least, reputation wise. ITaX plus Demon? Ah, okay. I don't know, it said first time chatter Liax, so I don't know. It gave me a whole different name. Maybe that is a different person. I think it is. Sorry, ITaX Demon, I wasn't talking about you. Anyway. Little Reaper harassment. Gets himself a Zergling there. Another skull to hang on his tavern wall. Every Reaper is, of course, a bar owner somewhere. Oh, Fabrizi 007, thank you for that sub. Very much appreciate it. 2 months, a 2-monther. Oh, Reaper back in action. Just trying to get a lay of the land, sees that there's not much going around, right? It's kind of the tail that goes. There's all this TVZ. The Terran wants to keep tabs on the Zerg. Is he doing anything crazy? The Zerg wants to keep tabs on the Terran as well, but usually the Zerg can anticipate some form of aggression at certain points in time. In this case, it will be Hellions combined with a Banshee. Interesting, yes. No cloak for this Banshee, however. Wondering if it's just going to be the singular or if a secondary will be built. Oh, that is the cloak, in fact, being added in, so most likely we will have ourselves... But maybe that is just to fake him out. Because the Overlord was about to get close, and I think he saw that Overlord when he activated it, so he might just cancel it now. No? Okay, well... Maybe it's a double bluff. Who knows? Maybe it's like, well, if you know... that I know... that you know... You know? I think that's where it ends. Maybe it's in the spirit of Gumiho that he's going for the Banshees here. Maybe it is Gumiho. Accidentally switched computers. Right, Lair coming up for Ragnarok as well. He does have himself a Baneling Nest, so if those Hellions were to become Hellbats, right, he would have been ready for something like that. Only making a minimal amount of Zerglings here. Looks like he only made 12 in total so far. Making a couple more right now, 18. It becomes that kind of time where you will be anticipating something from the Terran to start heading towards you. It will still be these two Banshees here, already cloaking a long way away from the Zerg base, but that does allow them to sneak up on that mini-map a bit better. Hellions having a bit of an engagement with the Zerglings, not too much comes out of it. The Terran actually foregoing somewhat of like a, you know, the push you would anticipate. 5 barracks is coming up, but he's got himself that third base quite nice and early. He's 5 workers ahead of the Zerg, in fact, so pretty darn good. It does feel like Ragnarok maybe was anticipating here and there a thing or two, which just never got at him, and since he made those investments, he just kind of started falling behind slightly with the worker count. Because as you can see, the amount of Zerglings he needed versus the amount of Zerglings he has is quite substantial. And these Zerglings have just been running around being like, wait a moment, were you not supposed to do something here? Were we supposed to be drones, sir? Were we? It's too late to change now. Right, there it does come forwards though. It's an awkward moment where Ragnarok will once again have to make that investment into units. So he's not really been able to steamroll ahead with his economy just quite yet. Oh, doesn't want these Zerglings and Banelings on top of him before he has those siege tanks sieged up though. Quite a bit of Zerg. Here sets up closer to the ramp. We'll be able to start doing some damage here to the Spore Crawler at least. Maybe deny one patch of minerals. Let's see where Ragnarok decides to go. Alright, looks like he will be setting up a big surround on this force. Ready to intercept reinforcements. Nothing is coming, however. 2 medevacs to the bottom left side. Time may be at hand. Queens could tank the shots off the siege tanks as the Zerglings move forwards, but you know what, there we go. That is more than enough. Of course, the rest of the army of Cure here back at home. So has the Marines on the top right side as well. They've had a big opportunity there, but not capitalized on it. 2 Banshees still on the right hand. Still kicking as well. See if we can target any Banelings there. No sir, he cannot. Okay, let's take a look at the overall trading. Definitely quite heavily in favor for Cure. Resources income. You know what? Cure's looking pretty sharp on those departments. Which explains why his presence here is so dominant still with the amount of units that he just has. The 3 siege tanks, one of them unsieged, unfortunately. The Banelings quite clumped up though. I'm not seeing massive siege tank shots on them. And yeah, that is once again a cleanup for Ragnarok. Another attack, however, once again coming in. After Ragnarok was done with the other side already and no longer preoccupied. That's a lot of upgrades finishing here. Half the screen filled with upgrades. Let's take a look there. The drilling class, +2/+2 for both. Ah. And I love that he doesn't just run those banelings in. The last one, you know, that's just the one. That's okay. He tried to avoid it, and it just... You know, you don't want to spend too much time in it, but... Just at least the effort was there, which is very nice. It's so inefficient to run those banelings in there. Okay. And not much that can be done here, except for just try to lure the Zerglings into the Widow Mines. Getting good trades. Manages to pass by the spores, but oh, there's the Queen. Nice snipe on the low HP medevac. Good targeting there, and as the army of Ragnarok is now marching towards the main base, there is another army for Cure coming in. A big counter-attack set up here as well, though, for Ragnarok. What is that to meet him? One siege tank on the high ground and a planetary fortress. That's about it. Ragnarok will he pull the trigger here now with that attack? No, he will not. He will send most of his stuff once again to defend. That seemed like, once again, pretty good detonations on those Widow Mines there. Oh dear. Yeah, not much you can do there. Well, oh, gets on top of the SCVs also. It's quite rough. 18 of them go down. Ragnarok, how is he doing so good? I guess his economy just grew, like, substantially. It's clear to see. Like, after the 5 minutes, it's just been all going towards Ragnarok, the economy. He's been trading like a madman, sure, but... Well, actually, it's not too far apart. It almost was double. It was double. Not anymore. Little drop there. Big trouble here. Tries to get as many boys out of there as he can. Same thing on the other side. Ragnarok on all the places. Having his eyes everywhere. Let's take a look at his vision overall. It is looking quite nice. He knows what will happen and where it will happen. Base over here might be difficult to take. With a mine. Ooh, nice spread out. This could be it. Ragnarok just kind of going for it. Banelings moving on forwards. Doesn't quite have what he needs just quite yet. But look at that on the other side. Once more on top of the SCVs. 15 of them going down. And Ragnarok still a large enough amount of banelings here to withstand a counterattack, I imagine. Although the army supply for Cure has been going above the 90 mark quite heavily. 134 right now. That could be too much to be dealt with. If Cure finds a way to force an engagement with two armies right here. In particular in a place like that. That would be wonderful for him. Ragnarok is not that big on his resupply here, right? It's gonna be difficult for him. His bank is not all that. He's gonna start growing it now, of course, again, but so is Cure. Cure's still about 40 army supply ahead. Will there change here? Perhaps. Nah, he gets out of that. He's safe. Oh, this is a good catch. Only Zerglings there, so perfect engagement for Cure to take. And forces that base to cancel. Doesn't quite get the drone, so it's going to be easy retake again. But kills off this hatchery. Great Aspire coming up for Ragnarok. I would love to see a couple of Corruptors here. Even if it is just 5 of them, or 6, it's just to get rid of those medevacs. But then maybe you're showing a bit too much that you're planning to go into the Great Aspire. I don't know. Alright. Oh, careful. Parasitic Bomb making things a bit more difficult to do. Finally something to do some real damage against those medevacts and start punishing them for going in and out of combat that much. More Terran units gonna get eaten up either by the Zerg or the medevacts. Medevacs will be able to carry them to safety once more. Let's take another look at the graph of income. That is disgusting, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you're just kind of being bullied into this playstyle, isn't he? The one where you just kind of turtle up. Still, you know, as a Zerg player, I imagine this looks really cool though, right? This is like the playstyle you always imagined, where you're coming in with just waves and waves of units. Whenever your opponent comes out, there's just Zerglings and Banelings just barraging them from all sides in every direction. The game definitely taking a bit of a different pace now, after those Vipers came out on the field. Okay, starting to go up towards the siege tank, the Ghost. It's already adding in starports here as well. I don't see those. May want to consider that, just for the extra range against the Brood Lords here. Can be very useful. Starting up some Thors. Another great unit to have in your arsenal here, especially when your Zerg opponent is playing that much with the Banelings. Thors really do not die against Banelings, no matter what Nesty says. Another planetary fortress going down. It's RAGNAROK. Slowly tidies up this position here. Ooh, has to be careful. Doesn't want to lose all those Broodlords for nothing. Well, I say nothing. He's already got a pretty good bank again as well already. Yeah, this is starting to have me worried here for Mr. Cure. A lot of stuff that is happening here. The other side, at Overlord's not in time. I can't believe that these Overlords, the Brood Lords are just able to sit here. It's not a great sign for Cure. Blinding Cloud's a little bit late to the party. A lot of volleys of those siege tanks managed to get unleashed, but there's just still so many Zerglings, Banelings, the Broodlings all crashing through. There's still a batch of Hydras there underneath the Brood Lords as well, ready to help deal against any type of Viking. I suppose the planetary fortress surprisingly still lives. And we look at the overall supply and we can see there's a demanding tail here that just requires our attention. Ragnarok growing in supply so quickly again. And we can look at the map and we can kind of get why that is, because he just has all the bases. He's got all the money. We'll be running in for another kill on a planetary. You're already struggling. Oh no! Well, that was a good bailing hit. That was a very nice bailing hit. That is one that may be a deal breaker for Cure here to make a comeback happen. However, Terran units quite good at defending. Quite good when they're preemptively set up. Manages to get an engagement going where he gets the snipes or EMPs off on the Vipers before they get their blinding clouds in. Maybe If he gets the Vikings, right, to shoot the Vipers before they do their thing, maybe. But you would still require Ragnarok to be like, you know what, screw it. I'm still going to attack regardless of how downtrodden my Vipers are right now. And then take the fight badly as well. That's a lot of what-ifs. And as the Blinding Cloud's already hitting. And down goes the Planetary, down goes the army. I think game number 1 has been won here by Ragnarok. And there's no further debate really possible after that engagement. Yeah, well, I guess this. You're not standing back. Not giving up. How much does he know about the bases in the bottom left side? Yeah, he knows. He doesn't know about this one, but that one, you know, is new, so... Well. Oh, right, yeah. I had the prediction, right? You need to turtle hard as a Terran, yeah. I think the sensor towers are also a big thing here. Sensor towers are just really good. They are fantastic. Because sensor towers in a way are similar to creep. Yeah, sure, they cost money, but... You know. You just put one down and then you have this entire area. Imagine if one creep tumor did that. Imagine if one creep tumor gave you this much vision. Alright. Another fight. Kjør, can he make the fight happen in his favor this time around? He really needs it. Come on, Kjør. Oh, Ragnarok a bit hesitant with the engagement. That could be good for Kjør. Giving him the best odds, the most likelihood to succeed still. Oh, but he's losing all his siege tanks again. He's losing all his ghosts. He's losing more SCVs. He's lost most of his marines. That's too much. That's too much. That is too much to lose. There it is. Our brave Terran hero throws in the towel. Fighting way past beyond what a normal human would be capable of. What's happening so far? Not much, not much. Pretty standard stuff, it seems. We'll get the speed upgrade going in a little bit, I imagine. We'll have the... Oh, a second barracks over here. Alright. Could go into the triple racks. Maybe the medevac double drop with the medevac, or sorry, the marines there. Okay, it is the triple racks, so a big squadron of marines will be coming in. Third base for Ragnarok, well in time. Of course, Kjør having a bit of trouble scouting what's happening on the other side of the map without a Reaper. These marines here could do a bit about that. Let's see, that is the tech lab. Let's see if that other one will have a tech lab as well. Probably, right? Scoobity boop boop boop. Could be a reactor, actually. Oh, just marine production, I see. No, wait. Changed his minds. Tech lab, alright. Okay. There they come. This can be quite a surprise for the Zerg now and again, but there's 3 queens here. And I imagine more queens back inside of the bases, so there's not much Cure can do. Maybe, well, I guess moving back with his Marines, maybe hiding his hand if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, he's showing exactly the amount of Marines that he has. Surprised we're not seeing a Baneling Nest just quite yet out of Ragnarok. I hope he knows what he's, the timing for this. I imagine he does. He's building Zerglings, like he knows that, you know, this is gonna be hitting him. Right, these Marines will move out before there's any Siege Tank or Medevac supports. That's just what you do with them, and you try to hit the Zerg before they're ready for you. Before they have, well, yeah, you can actually. I remember now, yeah, you can beat this quite nicely with just the Queens and the Zerglings. Keep your drones on the minerals. I've seen people do it before. Stim back and combat shield about to finish up for these Marines. It's still a potent enemy for the Zerg. Especially if they get a good corner, a good little crevice they can huddle up against. He has managed to find himself already in a bit of a threatening position here. Not overstaying his welcome on the creep either. Already backing up here. A lot of Zerglings being made, a lot of them waiting for that Marine clump to try and make their way back home. It's going to be quite a perilous journey indeed as the Zerglings now collide with the Marine Ball. The Marine Ball still finding somewhat of a wall to stand up against, but the sheer volume of Zerglings here, just too much. Didn't even need the Queens there. Right, that did not go well for Cure. He got bullied. He got quite messed up right there. Now the first wave of Marines doesn't necessarily have to do an enormous amount of damage. It's definitely preferred if you do, but it doesn't spell doom and gloom quite yet for the Terran. There's still other opportunities. He still has a good batch of Marines here. We'll see whether he's just opting to go for creep killing or if he actually wants to try and hit a base somewhere as well with these. Just the killing of creep, you know, already quite beneficial for him. Not something that's going to bring him back up to speed with this game so far. Burrow from Ragnarok. Lovely. That must be for Banelings, right? It has to be. With the amount of Marines that is running around here, a couple of burrowed Banelings well placed. Oh, this could be particularly spectacular. It's gonna be rough having them well hid enough on the creep, of course. Yes, there will always be scans going down to clear the creep. Has to find some nice trick to have those Marines run into him. Like for example, if he had put Banelings, a couple of them right here. I guess he doesn't have the burrow just quite yet, but it could be nice, right? Guess Cure not moving back with the Marine force from here. Standing sturdy. He's got himself 3 bases, and Ragnarok, not much to say about it for the time being. Although, his Zergling Baneling army definitely growing quite worrisomely large. Another Zergling attempt at killing the SCVs here. Nice pickups with the medevacs, however. We'll be able to keep a lot of those SCVs alive. This little batch of units for Cure just standing here, it's starting to get me worried a little bit. The army of Ragnarok is way bigger than it now. It's most likely just going to wrap around it and take it out eventually. Cure still allowed to persist here, however, and Ragnarok decides to just go for the counterattack instead. Is that going to be the right choice here? The Zerglings are running in one by one, and that siege tank is absolutely shooting just nothing but Zerglings and Banelings. Oh, that's a big connection, however. The Marines, oh, they got dealt with. Alright, well, GG. Just getting lost on the music now, guys. I'm sorry. Both players is kind of doing their thing, though. Yeah, Cure is really good. I mean, you saw him just manhandle Gumiho just now. Sure, a couple of them were just, you know, misinterpretations of the build for Gumiho. As he was trying to figure out what was happening on the map. But hey, that Reaper control was still there, man. Still very sharp. Well, this is something. That's a drone even. Nice. Okay, 2 Zerglings and a drone here for the Reaper. Yeah, guys. I mean, you just have to consider that these guys are athletes, right? And they're competing against one another. It's... yeah. Sometimes in a sport, you just don't do as well as you did on the day as you did your very best, right? And there's a ton of money in trying to figure out what exactly makes... an athlete really perform to their maximum. There's a lot of theories, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of stuff, right? And, well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say sometimes. It's probably a combination of a whole load of things. "12 roaches on the production tab. Could be having a rough time with the Banshee coming up. However, Cure is going for a quick 3rd command center here, so maybe there's not going to be too much available there for Cure to hold on to the gates. The roaches here being scouted by the Hellions and the Reaper. Quickly trying to make their way back around. Every hand will be needed at the helm here to defend this ramp. How much gas is available? Not that much. Maybe a couple of ravages will be made here as well. We'll see. Oh, sorry. We'll just keep marching forwards. Oh. Okay, cancel on the command center. He gets in. The typical Ragnarok play. Just a couple of roaches suddenly at your front door. There we go, 5 NCVs. And the Hellion splash damage here on these ramps is actually still surprisingly good against roaches. And he holds. Alright. Let's see the income graph there. What that really did. Put him behind there for a little bit, I suppose, but afterwards... What kind of tech are we on? No lair, nothing like that. It's a landed Viking. That's funny. Banshees here. I'm gonna find too much, but you know what? Here is a persistent little bugger. It's not gonna go home for free. Oh, there we are, 3 drones. Not bad, not bad. Oh, more Hellion pressure. Oh, Zerglings are there. No, sir, you're not getting in there. And backs out again. With the 3rd command center, Kure can overcome the loss of SCV here in the early game. It was only 5 of them as well. Bit of lost mining time, but that's about it. I think he's gonna be okay. To be fair, like, casting these lower ranked series sometimes, or these show matches between players, it's surprising to me how often I see people kind of trying things out here, and then later you do see them, you know, being played in the bigger tournaments, where suddenly in the GSL, you know, you hear Tosis and Tasteless be like, well, we've never seen this before. Then, you know, it has been shown in some show matches here and there. It's been tried out. Has been tested. I'm not sure if that is gonna happen less if the show match has a bigger audience, actually. I don't know. Oh. A lot of stuff happening here. A lot of SCVs breaking down due to the bits of Zergling sticking in them. Bottom left side, still under a bit of pressure, but not a lot of drones going down there. The Banshees have been successfully pushed away. This is more than enough Zergling Baining to deal with this, but he just doesn't want to keep taking the pot shots from the siege tank right there. I can get that behind that. But at the same time, there's got to be something he can do. He could try to run down this ramp instead, so he doesn't have to deal with, like, the long distance. Actually loses this base. Interesting. It's going to allow Kure to keep moving further forwards. Not a lot of SCVs here, so just leaves behind a minimum amount of Zerglings to try and get a couple of them killed off. Well, it's, you know, pretty successful. Main base of his. Can it be defended? There's the Mutalisk. Ready to intercept. Can they break something else here? I don't think so. A couple of Marines. One of the Muties goes down. The Mutie Mateys. Gets himself a siege tank. Alright, alright. Nice pick off. RAGNAROK lost the base, but he's definitely not lost the war. He's got his new 4th base set up and raring to go. Utilisk may keep Kure a bit more at home, but actually, in fact, now seeing this army movement might motivate him to go across the map here and deal some actual damage. Well, hold on. He might... Oh. Quick reaction. Alright. Was that his plan overall already? Just to try and lock out those Mutalisks from escaping? I don't think so. This must be his targets. He knows this base is here. He knows there's not that much creep. It's a prime target, that's for sure. The Banshees, oh, that is so good. Keeping those there, denying bases from being rebuilt. Probably already had a drone killed off there as RAGNAROK sent something over, tried to get that hatchery back. Quite a few Zerglings now. Once again, another counter-attack. Need to break through the wall here. Target down the siege tank first. Good job. Fighting the Marines. There's not that many of them, I suppose. Would benefit greatly from having this wall broken down. Doesn't feel comfortable any further. Losing his 4th base once again, however. This is becoming a tight series here. Oh, siege tanks unsieged. Is this going to be? No. Okay. RAGNAROK backs out. I think that's smart. Banelings were quite clustered, and those siege tanks were starting to siege up rather quickly. And the siege tank goes down. These Mutalisks just absolutely like ballet dancers flying through massive flocks of Marines and finding themselves some siege tanks here or there. Zerglings into the main base as well. Meanwhile, my goodness, my goodness. That's the flock of Banelings again. Creep spread, not that much, but oof. Turns around, some big shots on Banelings there. Quite a few of them shaved off. RAGNAROK's army supply starting to dwindle a little bit here. Of course, Banelings could make up for that fact if they get their connections on point. Mutalisk again on the other side. Want to keep this mining down to a minimum. It's the one thing that's really keeping him in this game. His economic advantage, but that can only benefit if he ever gets a 4th base. And Cure has been on top of that, stopping RAGNAROK from getting that 4th base. Most Marines are relatively low, but does he want to try to take the fight there? I'm not so convinced. Okay, supplies pretty equal. Both of them on the 3 base. RAGNAROK's trying to go for a 4th and 5th. Secure actually reset up on that base. It's going to be on full base a bit sooner here. As soon as those SCVs arrive. Trades out a couple of Marines. Probably the units lost tab. Nice time to look at that for now. And that is looking mighty fine for Cure. You would imagine the Terran to be ahead in the resources lost tab, of course. And the Zerg to be ahead in the gathering of said resources. Both of which are true somehow, some way. I guess the killing of all those SCVs over and over again, allowing RAGNAROK to still be at an economic advantage regardless of losing that 4th base a couple of times. Bouncing back and forth quickly enough between the other bases, building another hatchery, and resuming his mineral mining quickly enough to not be too bothered by it. Infestation pits coming up as well. RAGNAROK starting to get ready for the later game. Has to be careful of the just massive amount of Marine stats here. Here, unsieging all his siege tanks. This could be a moment for him to try and make a move. Sends the tower down. Missile turrets. Yeah, you need a hell of a lot of more missile turrets there to defend against this amount of Mutalisk. ITaX still started though. Feeling confident he can spend that money elsewhere rather than defenses. He is getting quite close to max now anyway, so may need to rebuild some Banelings, however. Does get that planetary fortress. Mutalisk tempted by the retreating SCVs, but Marines there to stop them from harassing. see. 44 SCVs in total killed off so far. I thought that was a bit more. Ooh, finds more siege tanks, more medevacs. Gonna go for each and every one of those siege tanks. That is pretty massive. I'm surprised not more Mutalisk died in that exchange as well. Now going for the Marines. Only having the +1 attack on those Mutalisk up against +3 weapons and +2 armor Marines. They do have a lot of banelings with them. Going through the tiniest choke that is on this map. Is that the wise idea here, Ragnarok? I don't think so. Oh my god, he got absolutely lawn-mowed. That was ridiculous. That was him sticking his just this entire hand into a blender. And then as the tips of his hands were starting to get chopped up, he was like, yes, continue, please. I'm sure this will work out in my favor some way. And then when he got up to his shoulder, he was like, well, I guess I don't have an arm left. Ragnarok, my goodness. That was what Pure needed. He will not let this opportunity go without any hesitation. He is across the map. He is starting to rake in the base kills. He's starting to get some drones now as well. However, the reinforcements for Ragnarok rather quick. You can regrow those arms, baby. More Marines for Cure are showing up a little bit late to the party, but they are still here. And they do still kind of secure the front. Ooh, careful of those banelings. Once again, quite a few of them have grown back in place. I think those Marines will be able to make their way home. So this is just an absolutely wild game. Income advantage, not that far apart anymore. Trade value pretty close. Mutalisk. Ooh, a couple of them getting scratched off right there. A couple more. Oh, that Marine, he's persistent. Those Mutalisks are quite persistent too. Still a Widow Mine here. This is a tough game. This is one hell of a tough game. We do have Hive, we do have the Spire, but no Greater Spire. We have +2 air weapons now available. These banelings. Oh, I wanted to zoom out more because there's just so much rolling across just above us here. But we couldn't zoom out any further. We're already on the grand epic scale of things, and it's still not enough. The game is too epic to be seen in the monitor. In its full glory. Alright, the counterattack is pretty massive. However, Cure here with one of his own steaming on through will be having quite a couple of bases there to kill off the production facilities. Now in trouble. There's not an insane amount of Zerg here across the map. When I look at the army of the Terran, that is an army that can just be so incredibly cost efficient. And wants to heal up again after a couple of those stims going through. Widow Mines here now is kind of starting to lock in the Zerg army into what was first the Terran base. 12 o'clock location available for Ragnarok there to give him money in a time of need. He still has a lot of tech available as well. Still the Spire, the Baning Nest, all there. Spawning pool. Here, however, his production is 2 Hellions right now, and he's starting to remake his barracks. That's the point where he's at right now. How many Banelings versus Zerglings do we have? 14 Banelings, 55 Zerglings. It's not too scary just quite yet. Definitely a fight Cure can win. But I would say time might be ticking here. For the production of the Zerg is going strong. 22 Zerglings at a time. When the Terran is building 2 Marines at a time. So, definitely something to take into account here. Having lost this production, massive right now. It will be massive for quite a while. You don't just make up for that time where you weren't producing units in no time at all. Okay, there we go. Starting it up right here. Once again, save this barracks. That's how important it is. He realized how important that is right now. Okay, well, the Zerg. One more push. Did he manage to build up enough here in that time period? Widow mines, how big are they? Seemingly pretty big. More Marines coming in as well. Oh, did Kjør have enough time to set up the defenses that he needed to? Or was it just a little bit too much? More reinforcements for the Zerg. It's only 2 Zerglings. I think Kjør has done it, guys, here. He's going to be able to keep himself alive, and that is going to be GG. Well played. Alright, come on, Mr. Reaper. Shoot him. No one's covering the WTL? Well, of course not. There's much more important things like the into the AlphaX Pro Circuit number 9 finals right now. RAGNAROK versus Kjør. It's a tough battle. It's pretty cool as well. I kind of like the more old-fashioned pushing happening from Kjør, right? With the siege tanks and the Marines, the Widow mines, all that good pizzazz. Sure, it's nice to see that ultra late games totally Terran now and again as well. But it's nice to see it in the mix rather than just it being the full course. What's been impressing me about RAGNAROK, I feel like, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think this might be a part of why he suddenly became so good. It felt like he had certain time periods where he played a specific playstyle, and then got really good at that one playstyle, but then he got figured out, and people just knew what to do. Right, I've seen these moments where for a couple of months, whenever I would cast a RAGNAROK game, right, he would do a cheese. He would do some sort of a timing attack. And then afterwards, I would see him, you know, kind of being in the mid game, an awful lot, trying to finish off their opponents there. And then suddenly I started seeing him playing the late game as much as possible. Right, every single game he was playing, he was trying to get to that late game, it felt like. And then he suddenly became really good at that late game. And now, well, he's just kind of well-rounded, you know? Is it a best of 5 final? Yes. It's only best of 5, so this could make or break RAGNAROK right here. These roaches, did they get spotted? I'm not seeing extra defenses going up. I'm not seeing that Banshee making its way home. Up until the moment where they actually are running up the ramp here. This could be dangerous. Well, the Aliens are going to have trouble here as well, getting that perfect arc on top of the roaches. So their AoE splash damage not going to be as much as it was before. Trying to break down that supply depot. Great repair though from Kjør. And Kjør will be able to seemingly hold on here quite easily once again. Oh, comes down the ramp a little bit too soon perhaps. Eight. 8 SCVs, not bad. Interesting. They're coming up. Thank you for the raid, Sephiron. Much appreciated. We're looking at the finals right now of the Pro Circuit number 9. RAGNAROK and Kjør both had pretty tough opponents earlier on. A ZVZ and a TVT, and here they are now in the finals. So RAGNAROK managed to obtain the lead there, seeming quite comfortable. But then that last game, game number 3, Kjør suddenly starting to ramp it up quite a bit. Stopped losing as much in the early game and kept absorbing everything RAGNAROK tried to throw at him. Never really went into the late game with the Ghost and the Siege tanks, maybe a little bit in game number 2. The Vipers and stuff just kept on coming. Zerglings are getting more than they're worth. Oh, getting way more than they're worth. Bit of retargeting happening from the AI. I guess you don't expect those Zerglings to stick around for that long. Don't want to be wasting all your time microing 2 Zerglings after all. Alright, potential drop. Viking has been working tirelessly to clear out the skies of overlords here, allowing Cure to be a bit more mobile with his medevacs and going undetected, hopefully. Ragnarok mostly just taking out all the rocks. Really sticking to his roach composition, however, with the plus ranged attack coming up here. Foregoing the melee attack so far. Still getting the Baneling Nest, however, but we might see something different this time around than just Zergling Baneling Mutalisk. Might be getting more so ready to take it into a potential later game. Lurkers could be a transition at some point. We'll see. Maybe he just wasn't quite sure what kind of attack route Cure was going there for a while. Okay, trades there as long as possible. Gets out of it. Banshee's still alive as well. Good to see. Banshee's still kicking. Here's the flock of Mutalisk, however. And where's the missile turrets? Oh dear, we don't have a single missile turret anywhere. Absolute disaster in the base of the Terran here. Cataclysm is going on. A flock of locusts have shown up and is tearing everything apart right now. Disrupting drilling claws as well. That is a big deal. Most Widowmines will be quite slow for a bit longer, getting themselves into the ground. Baneling speed coming up. Yeah, this is still a transition into just Zergling Baneling. I wonder what the reasoning for the +1 was then. Or maybe it was just because he had so many roaches. And he didn't feel comfortable just going straight into Zergling Baneling again. Maybe, I don't know. It's all speculative. Yeah, he's at the point where he's going to try to slowly trade those roaches away. Gain as much out of them as he can. Mutalisk, gotta be a bit careful here. Actually, there were 2 siege tanks waiting for him. Base count definitely going in favor for Ragnarok right now. Gobbling up the map. Let's take a look at the income advantage. Once again, it's just growing and growing in favor for Ragnarok. There's certainly ups and downs, but we know that's the mules kicking in. Even with the mules, Ragnarok's still above. Cure here. Not seeing too many attempts towards Ghost. Not that many siege tanks going on in the production either. Even the one on the tech lab still producing Widowmines. And to be fair, you're still playing against mostly Banelings, Zerglings, right? So, the Banelings. So you may as well stick to the Widowmine. I still feel like it's the better tool against that type of unit. The siege tank is great, but after a while there's just so many links and they could come in from so many different angles with the big surround. The siege tanks just kind of lose their value, it feels like, after a while. I don't know. With good infrastructure, of course, that's a whole different ballgame. Set up defensively. If you want to be aggressive, I feel like Widowmines are the way to go. Kure definitely has been looking like he wants to be aggressive in this matchup so far. But right now, he's just stuck. He's glued to his side of the map. Just terrified of this big green wave of balls rolling around. Yeah, they one-shot the banelings as well. Even before then, I think. I'm pretty sure they just one-shot the banelings. Okay, a little Thor there. Lovely. RAGNAROK being a bit cheeky. Grabbing absolutely every base that's on the map right now. He's ready to keep this going for as long as it needs to be. It's like, alright, well, I'm not going to run into you with my entire army and just lose the game again. You know what? No, this is a better engagement than that previous one. It's definitely a bigger choke. He gets the planetary. He's got himself the bank for sure as well to replenish this quite quickly, so nothing to fear for him. Kure is gonna have a bad day once he just finds out all these bases going up next to his bases. You're looking for opportunities to get aggressive, that's definitely the way to go. There he is. Finds the bottom right. We'll have to deal with this shortly. Looking at the overall efficiency so far, it doesn't really impress me for Kure. It's definitely not been up there quite yet. RAGNAROK's too solid so far, although this could be a big difference maker. RAGNAROK, nice splitting for the Widowmines. Another Widowmine right there. Oh, that's a nice connection. There's still so many banelings. Getting right on top of those ghosts. Those Marines all in trouble. As the SCVs are now just left open to the elements of the Ultralisk. Mutalisk, maybe a bit too early to fly the Mutalisk in like that. Gonna get shot again by a Widowmine there. The army of the Zerg definitely taking a bit of a hit as well, but nowhere near as big as Kure's. The army for the Zerg talking about, look at that, 50 something Zerglings on the production, 63 banelings. I think 63 banelings might be too many banelings for the one Widowmine here. Oh, no, wait, that's two. That's three. That's three Widowmines. Okay, this is doable. Oh dear, that's a lot more than 63 makes you think it is, isn't it? Oh boy. Well, there's no Widowmine hits at all. And that, yep, that's just gonna keep rolling. Alright. GG, well played. RAGNAROK takes game number 4.